Aaron Hernandez has been arrested because he is a suspect in the case of a 27-year-old that was shot to death. His name is Odin Lloyd. And now more information is coming out against Aaron Hernandez, who was in the NFL, who signed a major contract and seemed to have, the world just at his fingertips, but everything kind of fell apart. So now we're finding out about his past. His defense attorney had argued that he did not have a violent past, he didn't have a criminal record, so there's no reason to believe that he had shot Lloyd. But in reality, he actually had a few run-ins with the cops, and I wanted to give you a list of those run-ins. So I'm going to start off with the most recent, of course, in June of 2013, in Odin Lloyd's murder. In May of 2013, he had an altercation outside of a nightclub in Rhode Island. So he got into an argument, a big fight.
Yep.
In February of 2013, Alexander Bradley was shot in the eye. He literally shot someone in the eye.
Yeah.
And that person actually filed a civil lawsuit against Hernandez a week before he was arrested for Lloyd's murder. On July of 2012, there were domestic violence allegations. He was actually in LA with his fiance. A neighbor heard them fighting and was alarmed by it. They called the cops. However, the cops, she refused to really talk to the cops, and she did not want to file charges against him.
Yep. I mean, this list goes on and on. We're not even done yet.
Yeah. July of 2012, there was an open investigation in a Boston murder, a double murder. Now authorities are saying that they could possibly link him to that murder.
They were saying that Odin Lloyd might have been a witness, and that's why he was killed,
right,
because he was a witness to that double murder. We don't know that yet, obviously, but this is a lot of charges.
In March of 2007, he was involved in a bar fight that Tim Tebow actually tried to break up, but he was unable to do so. He was kicked out of the bar as a result of that. And then in September of 2007, there was a car shooting and attempted murder that authorities believe that he was involved in.
All right, so now look, these are not formal charges, so then his defense attorney can say, look, he's got a clean record.
Mm-hmm.
But in any one thing, like, oh, he got in a bar fight when he was a student at the University of Florida, no big deal, right? But when you take it in its totality, and by the way, it's a lot of the similar fact pattern. Down in Florida, when he's a student, he shoots two guys in a car, right? Point blank. They miraculously survive. He shoots another guy in the eye. He shoots the other two, maybe, allegedly. Another double murder, right? And then Odin Lloyd, another one in the head. And then you've got all the evidence. I mean, the car keys from the rental car in Rhode Island. You've got the same kind of bullets and guns at his house.
The body was found a mile away from where he lives.
After the murder, he hires a cleanup crew to come to his house and totally, clean the whole place. Like all this stuff. Look, if they came every week, then it's no big deal. But he does a special extra cleaning thing right around the same time. Anyway, you'll see throughout the trial when they have it, the evidence seems really significant. But what I really got out of that list was, this is what happens when you let people get away with stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? And he got the lesson, look, I shot two dudes down in Florida, if it's all true, right? I shot two dudes down in Florida, and I was a football star, I got away with it, right? Mm-hmm. And then I shot another two dudes, I got away with that. I get into bar fights, I get away with that. Everything I do, I get away with. So he thinks I shoot Odin Lloyd in the head. Of course I'm going to get away with it. I've gotten away with it for 6 years now.
And also keep in mind that, a lot of times when you're tremendously successful and you're wealthy, he signed a multi-million-dollar contract. That's just another reassurance that you're on top of the world. Nothing's going to go wrong. You can get away with murder.
Yeah.
And of course we're speculating. We don't know if that's really his thought process, and he hasn't been convicted of anything yet. But as Cenk says, the evidence does not look good for him.
Yeah, look, we're being kind by saying it doesn't look good. And apparently there was some character test that they give the NFL players.
Yes, so they actually do this test for social skills in the NFL, and they rate you from a scale of 1 to 10. He was at a 1, which is the worst.
Does it go to 0? Okay. And you can tell partly because Deion Branch, a fellow teammate of his, came out, supported him, said he's a good guy, etc. But almost all the other teammates are like, oh, that put me in trouble, right? And Matt Light even went out and said, yeah, not really a good guy. No. Okay.
Wow.
And And people that talk to him, we had a Boston Globe reporter on the Young Turks TV show today. They say like, sometimes he doesn't get things. Like you have to explain to him 2-3 times and he's like, what? Right? Mm-hmm. And so there's something off with Aaron Hernandez. There's no question about that.
And you must have really strong feelings about someone if you're willing to say something so negative, in an interview. I mean,
yeah, because
I would have to hate someone to say something that negative about them in public.
Because here's a guy who's in a lot of trouble, and you throw him under the bus. You must think there's something really wrong with that dude.
Yeah.
And look, all the evidence mounts up to there's something really wrong with Aaron Hernandez.